Welcome back to another episode of Allowed to Ask, a First Rounds on Media production. While we focus a lot on dating here, obviously, it's important to acknowledge that dating can feel intimidating. That's why safety is at the top of priority for First Rounds on Me. With standout features like profile verification and automated check-in messages during your date, First Rounds on Me ensures that your dating experience is as safe as it is intentional. Okay. We are so excited to be sitting here with the hilarious Jared Freid, a comedian, host of 3 podcasts. Am I right?
That's
3?
I'm a part of 3 podcasts.
You Up, J
never
Train,
shut the fuck
and
up.
The Bachelor.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure Bachelor is your
That's
favorite
where I
one.
found you.
Okay,
And you have a Netflix special called 37 and Single.
that's right.
So you're a man who does it all.
I do it all.
And you were just telling me in the elevator you had like 3 news segments today, and then you're traveling tomorrow. You don't stop.
I travel on Thursday. Yeah, you got that's like the job of comedian. You know, that's what it is.
I know.
you
I feel like you're very blessed, though. Not all comedians are traveling.
Well,
You're just
I'm
very equipped in the space.
Well, I hope I don't know. I kind of always was. No one was really casting me in anything, so I always created my own stuff. So I started doing podcasts like 12 years ago, and
That's
at the time I
crazy.
thought I was late, and because I love
you want who's late? Us.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like now,
We're
it's
late.
like if someone, now it's a different landscape than it was 12 years ago. Like there was no video. Now I feel like an old man talking about it. But it's like I love talk radio growing up, so it's like
Did you just listen to what was that we listened to on Z100? Phone
that was
tap.
what's
You know,
that?
a phone tap is when they
that
used
was
to
the
prank
best
call
in the
people and be like, I think my boyfriend's cheating on me.
Well,
Like that
this
was
is
OG podcast.
This is the sad part about becoming a comedian. You find out that those are comedians that were hired. They were all cast.
Oh.
All those are fake, apparently. I'm
It-
sorry to be like, this is a bad way to
Elvis
start a
Duran in
podcast.
the morning show is a comedian?
No, but they would hire these people. Like I know that job goes around like the open mic scene, like to make money.
Yeah.
Like they'll be like, okay, call into Z100 and say that you're like, what? I got, my boyfriend's cheating on me. All those are like kind of like
You
produced.
just
Oh,
ruined
I'm
yeah.
sorry.
my
This is a
childhood.
bad way to start.
Like she used to drive me to school and we would be so
Every
excited to listen
morning.
to it.
That
Right.
was like our thing when it came on.
No, it's fine. You ruined my childhood within the first
I'm
5 minutes of
sorry,
talking.
This is
So
why I
were
came
you
here to
always
be-
funny?
No, I'm still not.
Obviously you are.
I just liked writing funny emails to my friends. And when back when I was moved to the city, I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I would write these you'd be on the group email was the original group chat, and it was like, what are we doing this weekend? What are we doing? Everyone's
Via
at their
email.
job, all email. And then
But weren't phones were around?
phones existed, but BBM, that's BlackBerry Messenger.
If I could
stuff
have a BlackBerry now, I would.
You would?
I think so. I think BBM
I think
was
you'd
so
be
sexy.
5 minutes in and you'd be like, give me Google Maps right
I would do
fucking
it
now.
for the photo op and then I'd call it a day.
Right, you'd post it and look how funny I look. I was writing funny emails to friends, and if someone went off email to tell me it was funny, it made me feel good. So I was like, how do I do that every day? So that was kind of the beginning thought: be funny for money and figure out how to make it a career. So
And that was right off the bat. You didn't have a
no, I was selling life
full-time-
insurance and annuities and I was an econ major in college and
Where'd you
you know,
go to
it's
school?
Penn State,
Nice.
for the millennial bad reason of for the experience,
That's
I
same
want
with
the
me. I
college.
went to Syracuse and I
Right.
wanted the warm beer on a dirty frat couch.
You just
so.
wanted to have fun. You wanted
Yeah.
the big
Right.
college
But that's what
football.
it's all about.
Yeah, I don't know. That's what, you're told, I don't know,
Good.
looking back, I'm college, I'm happy with what I got out of it. But, 25, I was sitting there, what am I doing? What am I creating? And then some people are going to law school. Some people are going to business school. Some people are meeting their wives or husbands. And I was like, I'm going to go do some open mics. And I took sketch writing, improv. I took storytelling. I was like, I want to get good at it. I want to be good. And,
you're
so, we'll see.
I feel like I don't really understand. I'm so far removed from the comedy space. What's that industry like? Is it super competitive? Is it hard if you're just starting out?
Yeah, I mean, it's in the beginning, you have to be delusional. You have to but there's small goals and big goals. Doing a Netflix special was the greatest thrill in the world.
I mean, that's killer that you did that.
Awesome, very cool. But I also made it myself and then sold it. So I had to invest in myself, had to spend the money up front, had to hope someone would buy it. That worked out. I'm doing another special I'm going to tape in December. I'm doing the same thing. You hope it works out. You invest your money. You take chances. You
Is
know,
it going to be 38 and single?
it's gonna be. Well, I'll be when it comes out. I'm 39 now, and it'll be. I don't know what it's gonna be called. We'll see. It's a 1 hour story about going to the beach with my parents. So it's all about my parents and our relationship and the millennial boomer relationship. And it's been like it was a 2-minute story that turned into an hour story.
Right.
So it's one story that I tell, and it's been a blast. My parents love it. It's all like
Your parents
true
seem
story.
great.
Yeah, they're like.
Saw them at the end of the special.
So at the end of the special, my parents were in it, and then I got so many people being like, "Oh, I loved your parents. That was so much fun." And I never thought it was interesting to talk about my parents on stage. Like maybe a little bit, but like whatever.
Yeah.
And then I had this story that happened at the beach in like 2018, and it would always bomb. And I was like, and it was a debate that we'd always have. And then I was like, let me try it. And I kept trying it. And now it's like an hour story. It's like, it's fun to like people just really like connect with it. I mean,
Yeah.
you saw it, Rachel, you know, so it's fun to like go around the country and do it. So
Yeah,
So
that's
fun.
great. Well, that's how we kind of started, mother-daughter.
mother-daughter.
And I'm convinced like people prefer my mom over me. Like I literally
Yeah.
said before you came in here, I was like, this would be like a boring dating podcast if it wasn't for my mom. Like she makes it different.
Yeah, I
She's
mean,
down to talk about whatever, which is like very rare.
a lot of the show, you know, when it comes to dating, it's about wanting to find someone that like gets along with my family. And like,
Yeah.
I think the thing with families and like, you know, I don't have, you know, a lot of
Do you have
comedians.
siblings?
I have a younger brother. He's married. He got married in March, and he's like, you know, I'm very close to my family. We have a very fun dynamic. It's also a very combative, like ball busting dynamic. Everyone's laughing and making fun and yelling and screaming at all times, and I love that, and it's what's comforting to me. But it's, you know, it's.
You want someone to fit into that dynamic. You're not going to bring home like a schlub who can't fit in.
Right, and people think they can fit in. Everyone thinks they can. You know how
Yeah.
many women I've met that are like, "Your mom will like me." I'm like, "Oh, we'll fucking
Okay,
see."
when someone
You know?
says that though, it's like I think they're insecure about actually meeting your family.
I mean,
no one would
yeah,
actually
I would
say
be
your
too.
mom's love. Like people who say parents love me. Like I'm sorry, I don't like that.
I don't listen. When I hear it, I just go, "We'll see." I
We'll
just
see.
don't believe it. Like I'm like I've been surprised before.
Have you brought a lot of people home?
I never thought of it as like a big deal to bring someone home because it's not socially like a big deal for me. Like my parents would be like, "What happened with so and so?" And I'd be like, "We broke up." They go, "Oh," and then we'd move on from it. I know for a woman,
Oh,
it's
you should
very
take a
different.
tip on how to move on.
Yeah.
It's very different for women. I know that. I know
That's
that to be
true.
true. So like I've kind of held, you know, now I'm less so that like I don't want to deal with. I feel like it's rude to like. I couldn't bring a woman home now unless I was like literally like ring. I think I'd have to like really hold
Right.
up.
You have to be more mindful, you feel like,
Yeah.
at this stage. But like in the 20s, when Danny was in her early
I'm
20s,
in my
you're still in
20s.
your 20s. Like you met a lot of guys.
Way
parents.
back
It was-
when.
It wasn't though such a big deal. But I
I
think
did
now,
not meet a lot of people's parents. I met my boyfriend's parents.
right.
How many boyfriends' parents have made?
I've had 3 boyfriends in the past. New boyfriend right now, but
Mhm.
haven't met family yet, but still new. But old boyfriends, I met all 3 of them. I dated them for like 2 years
So
at
he
a
didn't
time.
make it to the trip to Maine.
No, he had a golf trip. He was
had a golf
was
trip, so
invited.
He was invited.
He was invited, but
So
he had a
we're
golf
there.
trip.
We're at Maine weekend, but we're not at Meet the Parents yet.
Correct.
We're in between the two.
We're in between. We're in like
Okay.
met friends in between next to his parents.
Okay, Rachel, do you like him?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love him.
Love him
Love
You
him.
meet someone and you're like, I want them in my life forever. Like, I want to.
forever.
Ooh, and I didn't even text you.
Like was so heavily invested in my dating
Mhm.
life.
But that's normal. Like as a
beyond.
parent.
Normal. I mean, what's beyond? What's
So asking the questions, fine, and that's what we like encourage on this podcast.
Well,
it's
she
like
used to
have
call
parents
me on the way
okay.
home, FaceTime me in a.
Yeah, that I think I set myself up for that because
Yeah.
after dates, I would call my mom and be like, "That was great," or it's usually like a funny story after the dates.
right?
But
And here's the reality of parents: is there's not a lot to talk about. So you know, what is she going to ask about? The guy you called home about? That's
but
your own
she
fault.
absolutely
I ask everything.
But
Yeah.
she would get so attached. So to the point where like if I said like, "Oh yeah, I liked him," she'd be like, "Okay, did he text you? When's your next date plan?" And to get me thinking like,
Right.
"Oh, we don't have a plan."
So now it's like a second voice in your head
Yeah.
on top
Right.
of your own. Like, why didn't they text? And then your mom's asking, why didn't they
or
text?
did they
So it
text?
becomes very annoying and stressful.
Right.
We have boundaries now,
Yeah.
though. So I'm
She doesn't
trying-
even know how to
Until you
pronounce.
don't.
She doesn't
allowed
even know how to
ask
pronounce
with
that word.
boundaries. Like I'm trying to not ask anymore.
Well, I always say to her, if like there's good news, I'll tell you. If it's bad news, you'll know. Like my mom, she
Right.
lost after my ex-boyfriend and I broke up like 6-7 years ago. She lost 20 pounds. I didn't
Because you
lose-
liked him
I
so
loved
much?
him, but he was a bad boy. But I really did love him. As
He was a
Why did you like him
compulsive
so much?
cheater.
yeah, he was bad.
Well, but
mean, it
what
was-
did he wasn't cheating on you. So
No, right.
I didn't lose a pound, by the
And
way.
she-
right, you
so
were like,
young and
I've
she
been
was in
freed from
college.
this asshole.
Yeah, exactly.
And your mom, why did you like him so much?
I don't know. I
He
kind of
checked
felt bad
boxes.
for him, and he wasn't really close with his family, and
You
I
felt
don't know,
like
I
a
just became-
surrogate mother to
I
him.
just became very close. With
I
him.
found out years later that they were like secretly texting because he didn't have a lot of people to go to. And she was like, I will be like a comfort for you, but you can never get back with my daughter. And I didn't know that until like 3 years later. I'm like, we don't need that.
This is the thing, like the mother-daughter dynamic is so different than the mother-son one. It's like, it's so...
What's your dynamic with your mom? Because I'm curious if it's similar with you and my brother.
Yeah.
Well, it's just like, I just think like moms kind of see through their sons like I know this sounds weird, but like the man they fell in love with at that age, like you're kind of like reminiscent of their husband during younger times.
Do you
like,
see that?
No, that I
Like you care for them, you give them leeway on everything.
well, I
you know,
do give him leeway,
Right.
But I also, just like your mom, I put a lot into my boy, and I know.
But you didn't put anything in here?
Oh,
No, I
she's on a
did.
full-time fucking
Yeah.
job.
But I'm saying,
no,
like,
no, no.
what?
I'm not a
But
9 to
saying, like,
5.
as a mom of
Well, you don't trust your son to take care of himself. You don't trust him to like
Well, I
go
just
shop
wish-
for himself or go
Well, I
do
still
like
do
live
that
on
a
his
little.
own or
No, he
clean
does
for
all that.
himself or
Like he just
did he go to the dentist? You're probably asking him that, and he's 30. Like I know the mom. Yeah, you think he can't handle? Like this is
No,
the
he
thing.
does
With,
handle all of that.
sure, but you ask him like as if he won't remember himself.
Okay, example.
so much
Example.
anymore.
No, mom. My brother's girlfriend just moved into his place, and
Yeah.
my mom goes, "So like, should I not go clean the apartment anymore when I'm
Yeah,
in the
this
city?"
is crazy.
I wanted to go through
my mom.
Brad is old underwear.
Yeah, now my mom is like, she keeps doing this thing where she's like, I hope she wants me to find someone so that I can be taken care of. It's not to find love, it's that she needs someone to watch me that she can
No, but
ask
no.
to give reports on.
You want someone
it's
to
and I'm
be-
like, that's a bad reason to want me to find
It's-
someone.
No, but it's not. I'm a caretaker.
Mhm.
Danny's a caretaker. I just want someone to like take care of my boy and make life easier.
What did I
Because
just
he works
say?
so hard.
I
Yeah, but
literally
it's
just
not.
said
But
this.
not thinking that
same sentence, different fonts.
But not thinking
Right.
that you can't take care of yourself. Your mom just wants somebody who's going to make your life a little easier.
This
My
funneled us
mom
right into
does
a
not
therapy session
knows
for
I
you.
can't take care of myself.
you
My mom would say, Jared can do nothing for himself.
But
She would
can
say,
you, or is your mom just
I'm
saying it?
here. I'm literally here right now. I'm living on Earth. Of course I can. But she would tell people that Jared can't do anything.
You want to know what
He
my
is
mom
just-
does too after we hang up the phone? She has like a laundry list of things she wants me to do. And then she hangs up and then she sends me a text with the same
Yeah,
exact
it's brutal.
conversation we had, recapping
Right.
what we just
The
discussed.
notes. The
And I
meeting
say to her sometimes, I'm like,
Meetings.
oh yeah, when I was younger, she used to be like, meeting in my office, and I had to sit there for an hour and go through a fucking laundry list of shit.
It's yeah. Well,
Myself and your mom would get along well.
I'm sure.
I like
well,
to-
we'll see. Like that's
Oh,
the way-
you're bringing her
everyone
home?
with my mom is a we'll see. I don't know. She's she's an animal. So she's great and we have laughs, but like it's just like it's but I'm used to that energy. Like you guys are like wait till you were just saying like we're my mom and I are crazy. Like this is calm to me.
Is it? Okay. Where are you at in dating? Are you dating?
I'm single. I did the apps for like a hot minute over the summer, and then it was too much, and then I was
What
like,
are your thoughts on them?
they're fine for some. Everything's good, everything's bad, everything's nothing. Like to me in dating, like there's no right or wrong answer. Like anyone who gives rules, I think is a charlatan and someone who's looking to make money off of you.
Interesting.
And because for every rule, there's someone that broke it that it was successful for them and found them happiness.
Right.
So who's to give rules? So when I talk about dating, it's way more zen than I am as a person.
Mhm.
So I really do believe like anything can happen and anything will happen. But
Mhm. Do you use your dates as like bits for your stand-up?
not really.
Major inspo.
Well, people, for me, nothing I make fun of is like I'm in the story.
Yeah.
I would never. To me, nobody is like to be. Like I don't want like it's. To me, it's not interesting to like make fun of someone. Like
Right.
I do a bit.
Well,
that
not
was
so
a
much make fun of someone, more just like if something funny happened on our date or you had a really bad one, like is that good inspo?
Sure, but it's all my, to me, I'm not doing anything for material.
Right.
Like I'm just living my life, and if I take notice of something, you go, "Oh, okay. How does that?" And you just have to think on things more. Like you just have to like think through it, and like, and if it becomes a bit, it becomes a bit because it's relatable and someone's going through something similar.
Right.
But like talking about like, I was talking about trying to like mediate between my mom and an ex-girlfriend, and like that's relatable to people, and I'm like,
Totally.
I don't think that's saying anything negative about them. It's just saying that your mom and a girlfriend not getting along, that's something that people can relate to.
Totally.
Everybody in your mom's community must want to fix you up, though.
There's a lot of that. No, it's very flattering, and it's also frustrating. It's like, it's hard because, the fix-ups especially, you have other people watching you. You have to be more careful. You have to be more respectful of everyone involved, so that's all difficult too. Dating's hard just for everyone. But I talk about it so much, and I've been talking about it for so long that like I'm pretty aware of everything. So that kind of like it's hard to be romantic in my position, I think. You need a little delusion.
Or you could go the total polar opposite and be ultra romantic because you do know everything.
But then I'd be a total manipulative asshole. Like I know when I'm doing good, I know when I'm doing bad. Everyone, when I talk about dating, it's all how I feel. So I speak for myself, and I think that's what makes people listen to the U Up podcast because, we're talking.
That's how I first discovered you way back when.
Yeah. Why did you unfollow?
What do you mean?
Happened?
I didn't. Wait. Also, did you block me today?
Yes, I did. Here's
I never. First of all, I don't think I ever followed you, and then
You
Rachel
did.
called me.
I
out.
have a good memory. I don't. So
Wait,
here's
I don't
what
think
happened.
I ever unfollowed you.
This whole podcast came together in a fishy way. Like I don't.
No, it didn't.
Well, I don't. Here's what I don't understand.
Okay.
Let's talk
I
about
always
it.
go through how I try to go through the whole thought process. Rachel, who I love, is great. I watch all her stories, so I see all her cute friends.
Oh.
So I
calling
look
me
at all,
cute.
yeah. So I look at all the cute friends.
So you checked her out.
I check them all out, of course.
Well, she's only had a guy for 5 months. Where were you a year ago, Jared?
I was here. She unfollowed you. Didn't have any idea about my life.
What are you talking about?
I
I don't think I unfollowed you. Can you unblock me? It's rude.
Listen, I'm telling you the story.
Okay.
So I go, whoa, she's got this friend. Oh, this one follows, this one doesn't, this one does. When I'm going through the whole Cuse crew. So then I see you do follow. Let me look at her profile. Cool, girl follows me. Maybe we'll come across each other in whatever way.
We did real life.
And then we come across each other at the gym. Oh, who's that? That's that cool girl that is friends with Rachel. Not following anymore.
I literally don't remember that.
People only unfollow when they go, to me, when I unfollow someone, it is like, ugh, get out of here.
There was no
So
ugh.
I'm wondering
Wait, don't speak
what
for me.
the moment of ugh was to make you go, I want nothing. Then I get an email through management. I could have gotten it from Rachel, a text. She could have texted me.
Interrupting.
email. So I don't know. I get put in the position.
I can't wait to say my
please
piece.
interrupt. But I get put in the position of I'm always everyone's first podcast guest. Come on, talk about
You're not.
dating.
You're our 12.
I get used. So
we're not
every
using you.
TikToker, I have these TikTokers that give dating advice. They're all asking me for advice on text. Then I have a Netflix special. They don't promote it. They act like they don't know me. You're going to have them all on your podcast. All these people that I've done.
Okay.
Listen, and when I do something, I don't do it to get something, but I do notice when I don't get anything back.
Okay.
So this is something that I'm saying, I have someone who is not a fan of mine, was moved to
No.
saw a post. Then we're a big fan. We want to have you on the podcast. I don't believe that for a second.
Okay.
So,
Are you done?
Right? What if you're
Are
in my
you done?
position? What would you
Yeah,
feel?
but I can't imagine.
Wait, no.
her
I need
unfollowing
to
you.
speak. One, I have no recollection of unfollowing you. Jail for me. I apologize.
Okay.
I texted Rachel being like, actually, she texted me being like, I think Jared Freid would be a great guest.
I wrote, I
appreciate
love him.
I go, align.
You, I believe.
I texted, eye contact.
but I don't even follow you.
Eye contact. I texted Rachel being like, hey, do you think you could connect me to Jared Freid? She goes, yes. she being Rachel, she goes, yes, send me an email. So I sent her an email and she connected me with your managers. I'm not a formal chick. I don't know if you could tell that.
The email is very formal. I saw the email. I go,
'cause I'm
why does it feel like I'm being tricked into this podcast?
Because I'm texting her manager, your manager. I'm not going to be like, yo, what's up, bitch ass hoe? Can I get your client on so we can talk
you
about
guys are
sex, dating, and
vacationing
drugs?
in Maine together. I'm like, what's this? Hi, I'd like to cordially invite
You know
Jared
what?
Freid.
Wait, first of all, I wasn't so queer like that. I literally was
I
like,
even screenshot it. I was like, what is this?
Jared, what the fuck? Okay, I had Rachel connect me to your managers. We're going to be like, yo, what's up, dude? Give me your client. Like, and then
It was just, I don't know.
the block is aggressive, though.
Well, no, at that point, I go, I'm out.
I truly, deeply, from the bottom of my heart and soul, apologize
It's
for the
okay.
unfollow. I hope we can move on and be friends from here.
We can figure it out. We will try our best.
Okay, I'm down to move on.
I will
I'll
move
give you
on. I had to, but that was
do you want me
what
to
it
give
was
you a
on my
hug
mind.
right now? Like, do you
What's
want a
that?
hug right now?
No, I'm okay.
Okay.
These are the things they weigh on me. This is the thing, and this is my perspective on dating.
Okay,
It
let's
is
steer this on top.
Well, this is because it's very relatable to dating.
Okay.
The problem with dating nowadays is you get face to face with information that you wouldn't have been put face to face with in another time. And anyone can cut you at the knees and say, oh, you're looking too much into it. Usually a mom does that. Oh, you're looking, who cares about Snapchat stories or Instagram stories or how they connect? People say, who cares? Everything matters. Everything is done for a reason. Nothing is done by accident. Nobody doesn't text because, oh, I forgot it was a busy day. All of it matters. So
That's an interesting.
well, it's the
point,
truth.
though.
I mean, the idea that I get asked a lot, why, we made a match on the dating app and there are dating people out there that are like telling people, here's a great way to get the guy who's not asking you out to ask you out on a dating app. The idea that you need to drag a guy along who has gotten to this day and age, has survived to 28 years old, and now you need to somehow zhuzh him into making a date with you. No, that's an unwilling participant.
Right. Like
So
I
is
say
there-
next.
But is there a world where we just spoke to someone last week and she was like, she followed up. She reached, her now husband reached out to her via a dating app. She didn't get back to him. She didn't see it for some reason. And he followed up and now they're married. So is there no world you think where someone shouldn't be like, okay, he didn't text me, but I should reach out to him
There's
still?
always a world. I think anyone can text anyone, but then you go, how many times do you try? How many
that's the
times do
next
you push
point,
someone?
yeah.
You go, oh, they're shy. I don't believe anyone is shyer than they want. I don't think any guy is more shy than he is ready to fuck.
Yeah.
So that's the reality. So
Right.
that's Darwinism. That's survival. So, these apps allow men, especially me, to be lazy, to kind of wait for things to come to them. Men love vague options. Apps are all about vague options because you have a match. Okay, we've agreed. We find each other at a minimum
Attractive.
Yeah.
Right.
A suitor or suitorette. So it allows you to go, well, maybe that's all the guy needed is to know that I could.
Right.
But I'm only going to do it at my own convenient time, which is gross to hear, but that's I kind of live in this world of everything matters. The idea that but then, but this is the social media world that we live in. Where it's I remember way back when someone would comment without liking. And you're
that shit's, but that's stupid.
But it's stupid. But then you go, what a piece of shit. I would be that person is just they think that this is I put this out there to be liked.
Yeah.
And you
You're
had to
actually
come back.
teaching me now.
Right. Well, you come back with a pithy comment to slam on me. And it's you're not having fun with me. You're trying to, show me that you have the better comment on this thing.
Yeah.
And then the feedback to that is, Jared, you're being sensitive. Jared, it's your problem. That's easy to do. Okay, fine. I'm the crazy one. This is how with dating, this comes up a lot.
It's interesting though, because in some way you're saying not to overthink everything. That's not the right word, but you're analyzing a lot of things when I feel a lot of dating experts say don't overthink things. Just but go with the flow. If he texts you, it's great. If he doesn't, reach out to him. It's more wishy-washy versus you're saying if he's DMing you versus texting you or liking versus not liking, it's intentional.
If you think something is weird, it is weird.
Period.
Like that, period. That's not like I get the question a lot. I'm new to the dating apps. What should I do? My biggest advice is
Don't be weird.
If you're coming, my biggest advice, if you're new to dating apps, is you're not a stupid person.
Yeah.
You are texting with friends and family. You have Instagram. You have social media. This isn't dating today. This isn't you, a new baby who can't figure out how to do this whole dating thing. You're on all apps, and then you're not new to life on Earth.
Yeah.
So if it's weird, it's weird. You know. So and also, there's no such like I always say. Every dating advice is the only thing when dating that people need to know is take the word confused and switch and turned off, and you'll have the answer to all your questions.
Interesting.
Dating advice is very simple. I'm confused. They don't text back. How about I'm turned off by their texting behavior?
So true.
That's okay, but also believe in redemption. If you say that to a partner and they go, and then they kind of like throw that emotion away, then they don't care about you. They're being evasive.
Right.
Or they could address it. They go, you know, I'll acknowledge that is something you want from me, and now we're negotiating. So,
right. And it's like
you know,
conversation
right.
versus right.
Being turned off isn't ending a relationship. But if you let someone know you're turned off and they end it right away, they weren't there for it anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So letting someone know you're turned off, you know, the confused thing, a lot of women, I'm confused. It's like, you're a college graduate. You're not a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
You're not confused about anything. You're turned
You
off.
never know. Some people out there have dated some bozos, some idiots for sure.
People are stupid, but
Idiots
they're
in the
not that
sense where, like,
stupid.
idiots in the sense where like just how to like treat someone. Like they're not stupid when it comes to like figuring out how to date, but like I don't know. I would like to think some people should be smart enough to know how to treat someone, not being a total twat.
Right. What scenario? What's the scenario?
they're not
Like
so
love
interested.
bombing, for example.
Yeah.
Like
love bombing.
Like send it even
I
at that
think
point,
we'll-
just send a fucking text or like pick up the phone. Like
the
don't
love
like
bombing thing gets thrown around. I think, like, to me, the phrase is thrown around too much because guys are entitled to have to fall head over heels as well.
valid.
So, like, I think a lot of women are like, well, you know, they're sitting there going, I like this guy. Oh my God, he said this, he said that. And yes, it is easy to believe when someone says something, but no, I think it doesn't always come from a place of like trying to manipulate you into whatever.
agree.
You know, I think it gets thrown
Right.
around a lot.
But your love bombing, this is what made it bad, and it was a love bomb,
All
was
the
over
time.
3 weeks.
It was not incorrect. It was well,
was.
kind of correct.
Yeah.
It was over like a month and a half, so like a very short period of time. But it was just like hot and heavy, moving quickly, and I've learned that hot and heavy is not the answer to what I
Met
want.
the parents.
Met the parents. It all happened
3
very, very
weeks?
cool. It happened after like a month. I met the parents, but I voiced to him like I don't want to move really fast. Like I've had this exact situation happen like a few months ago over the summer. It was like summer, then December this was happening
Mhm.
a few years ago. And he was like, I understand. I'm so happy you're telling me this. I want to make sure you feel comfortable. If you're not ready to be my parents, like by all means, but I would love for you to come to like our post New Year's brunch that we always do. I
Right.
was like, you know what? This guy's making me feel good. He's reassuring me. He's affectionate, doing everything I would want. Fuck it. Why not? Met the parents. All went great. Few days go by, 3 weeks go by. We like barely communicate. And then
Yeah.
he's at that point, I was like upset, but I was also like, fuck this guy. Like we're obviously done. And then he shoots me a text being like, hey, I think we should just be friends. Like,
Mm.
and now he's
but he
engaged.
kept
Now he's
saying,
engaged.
It's not you. He's engaged.
Yeah, we pray for that family. Yeah.
Well, I think also like if I can tell you what happened, you know, like
please do.
it was, well, you guys went out.
Yeah.
You came home. He realized that this was a moment. You guys are now more serious than you guys. A lot of times will like.
Yeah,
and this
take me
is-
into the guy's brain.
Yeah.
Well,
a lot of
I'll
guys-
say it, guys. A lot of times will try on a girlfriend, and because again, it goes back to the social thing. We don't really have. I don't have.
Mhm.
This worry, like I think now more at 39, I have it more, but guys in their 20s are not worried about being the alone one
Mhm.
and what a mom will say or what a dad will say or aunt at Thanksgiving. Are you seeing anyone isn't an embarrassing question, you know, like
No, people make it embarrassing. Like they were always worried about going home for the holidays, being
Right.
like, "Ugh, I'm going to be like the single one again." Or,
right. And because they're getting those questions and
right.
I think just women have you know, it's not unenviable position of like, it's just different for them. Like,
Yeah.
so guys, a lot of times they don't really feel the weight of, oh, come to my family brunch after, New Year's, which feels like a huge day.
Mm-hmm.
But the way he's presenting it after 3 weeks, obviously it didn't mean that much to him.
I always say, don't hold in a compliment.
Right, like why not? Isn't that the greatest to see someone who likes you respond to like my sister says you're great?
Yeah.
Like he got caught up, like he's a lot. We're all human, like
Totally.
so. That scenario is not surprising to me to go because I've been him. I've been on both sides of that.
Yeah.
Where you're like, oh, this is it, and then you go, is it?
In a very, very quick
Right.
3-4 week span.
Right.
Well,
this,
yeah.
this was a good miss, though.
Is it?
Next.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Next. Oh my god, that phrase literally like makes my skin crawl.
Yeah, 'cause that's what I always say. Next.
How? I'm rolling my eyes. How? But you're right. How would you say has dating changed since you were in your early 20s to now?
Oh, it's like it's totally different. I think like
Better or
It's-
worse or the same?
it's different. Just there's just so much more ways to go out and date, and there's so much more like there's just so many more things. Now Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Threads.
Right.
I just did a post about this the other day about like you could be on a first date right now, and so many more topics could come up naturally
Mhm.
that would feel unnatural at another time.
Mhm.
Maybe there were issues at another time, but it wasn't like you could be talking about vaccinations on date one, and that would be totally normal conversation.
Yeah.
That would be like, how did you vaccinate during the pandemic? Would come up, and it's like that is
Were you
so
wiping
wild.
your groceries also?
Right?
during
Like, what
COVID?
type of person were you? And then like, I think as
together for 10 months.
Jill.
you moved home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
were you?
I was here. I was living with my then girlfriend. And then towards the end of the summer 2020, we started going down to Boca a little bit more. And then I stayed in Boca. She went home to her family for a little bit. And then we ended up breaking up in 2021, like March.
During the pandemic.
It was like we like moved in March 2020, moved out.
That's like
March
prime
2021.
start of COVID.
Yeah.
So COVID either like exponentially grew relationships and moved so quickly, or I feel like ended it.
Both
It was like there was like
directions.
no in between.
My brother went the other way. Him and his now wife, they met. They moved in like when I moved out. So they moved in
Funny
together.
timing.
Yeah, and they met. Hinge via.
Mhm.
He heard her on a podcast that I was on.
Wow.
He heard her.
So I went on a podcast. These guys are great guys. You probably know them.
Who?
Johnny Lazarus,
Johnny Lazarus.
Yeah.
I love him to
the
death.
Locker Room.
Yeah, he's great.
So the Locker Room. These
You
guys
wouldn't
are.
know him, but he's great.
They have a
He's sports guy.
Jewish sports podcast called The Locker Room. And I go, and they, again, early guest use me.
I'm literally
So-
over you, Jared. Clearly, I was already over you, and now I'm even more over you.
They brought me on to be like one of their first guests. I was like, great. And I go on and they're asking me about Jews and sports. I'm not a Jew in sport. I'm just a Jew with a
Jew.
podcast. So
It's a Jew.
yeah,
a Jew who's dating.
I'm talking with them and I'm like, I don't know if I'm the right guest for the show, but we're having fun. And then I'm like, maybe you should have my brother on because he works in the NFL. So I was like,
That's cool.
so I call my brother. I'm like, you got to hear these two idiots. They're from Long Island. They play hockey. They're hilarious. I'm
yeah.
from Boston. It's all Irish Catholic hockey people.
I
There's
feel
no
bad
such
for
thing as
his
a Jewish
parents,
hockey.
so they were probably up at 5:30 in the morning.
Oh my God.
Drink.
Such
tough-
a mom
tough life.
perspective.
That's horrible.
Oh, then they had to go to the supermarket
Right.
and pick them up a monkey. Ay, 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 gewalt.
So they go, I go to my brother. I was like, maybe you go. He's like, I'm not going on. But I was like, check it out. Because I had also like been going on podcasts. I was like, I was like, I told this story, go listen. So he goes and listens. And then the next episode is his future wife. She's the next episode, and she's talking about how she's in Providence and she's moving down to Miami to work at the sports at NBC to be the sportswoman there to whatever.
Wow.
So he had listened to her episode. Then she moves down. They match on Hinge, and he already knows everything about her.
Oh.
So now they go, date, and from there on, they're like
That's great.
quick. The pandemic, they're together all the time.
Yeah.
all that
I
stuff.
hope Johnny Lazarus officiated their wedding.
He takes
Yeah.
a lot of credit for it. You know, he was like he was
I was
very
just with
proud
him
of
the other
himself.
day
Yeah.
because for First Rounds on Me, the dating app who was the production company behind this podcast, they do a YouTube series called First Rounds on Us where we like, interview people on the street. And I'm the host, and I interviewed Johnny the other day. He's a character.
Great guy.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Big fan.
Yeah, he is.
But interesting, back to your brother. When you know, you know. That's cute. I like
Right.
that
Well,
story.
you know, they're very much a match. They're and she's great. She's fantastic, and we all love her. And then now they live in Chicago. So
Love.
That's
So when you inevitably do get into a relationship, manifesting that for you, if that's
Sure.
what you want,
yeah.
do you think it will kind of change your comedy and how you speak about dating, or because you might be a little bit more far removed from like not the dating scene, but more so like actually being involved in it?
I was in a relationship while having the podcast where I talk about dating. To me, I'm always just talking about me.
Yeah.
So it's not about dating. It's about
Right.
how, you know, I put myself in the shoes of whatever the person's asking about, and I tell them how I would act. And I'm 10% away from any guy someone's talking about.
Mhm.
Like all of us are not that far away from one another. So
great.
if I'm feeling it, maybe they're 10% away, but they're not 100% away.
Mhm.
So I can
Yeah.
give an answer that, that's kind of like my place in when I talk about dating, it's only because people are asking me questions. Like when
Sure.
I started the podcast, it wasn't a dating podcast. It was like, I just said, I gave my personal email and I said, and any question you have. And I started getting all these emails about dating. And I was
What
like,
do you think is the most like common question you see in your inbox?
Are you single?
No.
Should I sleep with him on the first date? Does he not like me anymore?
Does he, it's usually like, what's this mean? Why did he do this? It's
Yeah.
usually after the fact. Why is this happening?
You're literally God to
Yeah.
people.
I
You're
love
like,
the
give
guy's
me the
perspective then.
answer.
I just answer honestly. And, the reason there's not a lot of straight men that talk about it is it's icky.
Is it though? Like, I honestly respect if a man's like talking about his feelings, emotions, dating. Like, I'm all in for that.
But if you're talking about like, it's nice. I'm just saying it's icky to like put, I can understand how women hear me talk about it and they're like, I've had it. Ugh, like you did. Like,
I literally knew that was coming. If my eyes could roll further back in my head, I would. I would do it.
Turn into a cat clock.
Yeah.
I just understand why, listening to you on podcast is hard for people because
Really? Interesting.
because it's hard. Some people are killing it in every other facet of life and they can't figure out dating. They can't figure it out. And I understand that just from hearing from so many people. And it's like,
why do you think that's the case though? Like, why do you think people are
I mean,
so
I'm one of
anxious
those
when it comes
people.
to dating? But
I
are you
always
an
say
anxious-
it's a numbers game. You just got to keep putting yourself
agree
out
with that?
there.
it is, but
and-
that can become exhausting.
It is.
There's a point where you go, I've been at this numbers game for a long time. And for me specifically, I've dated really nice people I could have ended up with. What was it about me that didn't let me go to the next step? It's never them. It's always you, So it's like, what wasn't allowing me? What was the thing in my stomach? Was it that I was career focused and really I wasn't, taking into account someone's feelings in a way that was thinking about the future? That could be part of it. Was it, what was I listening to at the time that made me think this wasn't the right thing for me?
But now
It's
I
hard.
think you're ready. Like, I feel it.
Yeah,
You feel it.
I do feel it.
I think
Mama
I'm ready.
feels it. You're
Right.
ready. You're gonna find someone tomorrow.
right.
I'm
my
ready.
mind is already thinking.
Right.
Don't
This
be
is
another
what-
Jewish
yeah.
mother kind of. He just said it's exhausting.
This happens a lot. I'm very flattered, but it's also, it's
Right.
it's just tough. Because when someone sets you up too, they're like, I love this person, and you're like,
Right.
usually, and you're like,
But you're
well,
lucky it's that because sometimes I feel like people are like, oh, like you're single. If like you're like the quote unquote
Right.
last person single, it's like, oh, you're single or you're single. Or it's like if someone's gay, it's like, oh, you're both gay. You should go out.
right,
It's
you're
like
both
just because
Jewish,
you're both
make a
Right.
Jewish kid.
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah,
like that's where setting up could get a little wishy washy.
Well, that's where it becomes frustrating. That's where the numbers game thing comes in, where it's exhausting.
Right.
It's like, okay, and you don't want to act like, sometimes single people seem like they're too picky, because they're like turning things down, and you're like, well, you're single, you're hungry,
Yeah.
here's food, and you're like, but I don't want just any food,
Yeah.
right? There's no
Right.
desperation. It's a lot easier nowadays to be alone. It's an easy.
Why do you say that?
I could date my phone. I can go to a bar with my phone and have a really nice night.
Honestly, I
really
love an alone
restaurant.
meal where you're just looking at your phone.
Killing it. I was at Spaniard last night. I go there like on Mondays, sometimes Tuesdays. I'm having a martini. I'm watching
that
the
girl?
game.
Wait,
Yeah.
Spaniard, like that's like a young crowd. No, I'm not calling you old. Oh God, you're gonna fucking hate me after this episode. That's like a young crowd. Like
Mondays and Tuesdays is not.
like
it's better-
Thursdays, you're gonna find like
Thursday-
a solid 23-year-old.
Never. I would never. There's a line now. It's crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy.
I would never go there on a Thursday night, but I love that bar. I think it's
Yeah.
a great bar. So,
Agreed.
and it's also like lively. Like,
Yeah.
it's the center of the West Village. So it's like got this like, there's a little bit of an energy. So it's like I was watching the football game. I was like, am I going to stay
Sports
home?
guy. Don't call yourself not a sports guy.
Well, I like sports, but I'm not in sports, you
Yeah,
know?
no, I
So
know.
I was, just sitting there and I'm like on my phone and like, whatever. That's a nice night for me. But you go,
Right.
that becomes a problem too, because you're like, man, I'm now opting for a loan rather than I'm like, oh my God, do I have the social battery to like
Yeah.
sit and be on? Like, I've done so many first dates where you're like, you have to do the first date face and follow every word. And it's like, that's a lot. It's like when you run your phone
I
with
just
all your apps
resonated with
open.
you so hard with like the first date face. Like, yeah.
Yeah, you're laughing when you wouldn't laugh. I just want to be like at like eyes at like 1/3
I actually
And-
saw one of your posts, LOL.
before you were blocked.
Yeah, I saw one of your, or maybe it was a recent one when I like followed you a few days ago. Anyway, but can you unblock me? We'll talk about that later. But and you said, now I'm having a brain fart. What the fuck did you say? Oh, you were saying how like on a first date, like you want to have like conversations that you would have like within like 6 months. Like
Right.
you were, I forgot what the topic was, but you were dissecting something, and like I'm the same way. I don't give like I'll learn about your job, what you look like, your family, your siblings,
Right.
all through social media, like or through like LinkedIn. I want to know like what you thought about like this movie character and what are they doing in real life. Like I want to get into the things you talk about.
That's
like,
a good
down the
first
line.
date. You
Right.
want like weird conversations where it's very comfortable and you feel like you've known the person forever. And like, that's like the real good first date.
Right.
That's the
I
one you want to
agree.
go on the second date. And I think what happens when you're single, especially, is you go on a lot of dates that are really nice interviews. And it's like nice interviews aren't really what you're looking for.
Right.
Like
No.
and you're looking for, oh, that felt like a 6 months in,
Yeah.
not a first meeting. And
Yeah.
and the problem is, you become like, it's, hey, let's go out again. Then it's like, who am I to say, it was a nice time, but I don't want to go out again.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
you there's a lot of self-doubt.
Or is it like, did I have fun because of them, or did I have fun because of me?
right?
You always
Was it-
said that you always you were.
I had fun on every single day because I'm a
Right.
fun person and I could talk someone's ear off.
Exactly. And it's like, if you can do that, then
Then it's
that's
all
it.
good.
Yeah.
That's a first date. Then people will go, well, what's the problem?
Yeah.
And you go, well, there's no problem. That's the problem.
That's the
There's-
problem.
Right.
Like,
The
can't
problem
You
is
have
was
like a
easy.
stick on the date. Like, what's the problem?
Yeah.
Well,
You know? Or are
I
you just you? Like,
well,
is
so-
this you? This is you.
this is me. I can't be
And he just
anyone
yelled
else.
at me for 20 minutes about me having fun. I hope
Look at-
this is him.
This is quite a description. Yelling. I didn't. What
No,
yelling?
you raised your
It's a little
voice.
heated.
You raised your voice. I can't tell if I should cut some of that part out. Anyway, I'm kidding.
Why-
I'm totally kidding.
I want the audience to know the real Danny.
yeah.
She does
When you
unfollow
do stand
people.
up,
I'm a big old bitch.
is most of your audience women?
It's changing now, but I mean, I do the Cellar, which is the Comedy Cellar is like
Mm-hmm. I've
just
been to your
random
show.
people. Thank you.
Years
Am I
ago.
too old? I want to come.
Maybe that's when you unfollow. So I,
Like maybe, like I was an old version of me. I'm a grown woman now.
you've come so far.
Yeah.
It's now it's like I tell people to bring their families now because of the material's all about my parents. So like I
Wait,
really
let's
love
go.
We want to go.
that. Oh, come on,
When I go to
Tarrytown.
when I go to where?
Tarrytown.
Oh, Tarrytown. That's
Oh.
what I heard.
I'm taping a special there.
Oh,
come to
that's
the
right by
come
me.
to the taping.
Wait, let's go.
I'll get
Let's
you
sit
guys
in the front row. I'm ready to take
tickets
the heat.
on me.
Oh,
I got you.
We're-
See,
oh, not me though. Just my mom.
yeah, just
I'm gonna go kick rocks and go fuck myself.
bring the
I
new
like that,
boyfriend.
I'll bring the new boyfriend.
That'll be the first meeting.
Oh, geez, Louise.
Yeah.
Buckle up. Honestly, that would be good. It's a good like testing.
that'll
Yeah.
be fun.
That'd be fun.
Come. I got
I
two
also
shows.
definitely want to be there. I used to go on a lot of dates to comedy shows, like not even second, third, fourth date. I think it's a great date. I also love it because I like to like be upfront. I like to get picked on. Like I think it tells a lot about I want to be with someone who could like not take themselves too seriously and like have a
Sure.
good time. So I've been on dates with guys who are like so into it and they love when we get picked on. And I've been with guys who are like, can we sit in the back? And I'm like, you're not my person.
Really?
Like
okay.
I want to be with someone who could take the heat
yeah.
and really just enjoy that moment versus like just like being so stuck up about things.
You can definitely tell if, especially men, the comedy and male ego kind of like go hand in hand.
Yeah.
You can tell if like a guy is like a fun, easygoing guy from a comedy show.
Yeah.
Like just, and you can see it like in the front, like, hey, what's your name? And they're just like total asshole right away.
Do you do a lot of crowd play, is it called?
No, I crowd work stuff.
work?
I used
Play?
to host there all the time. So like I would have to
Yeah.
when I hosted. Now I have like things I want to work on, but I can, now that's
Yeah.
like the rage, like now people are posting clips because they don't want to like waste material.
Right.
So they'll post clips of them doing crowd work. I've posted those clips. They're fine.
Yeah. Because I feel like some comedians like only do crowd work. That's like kind of their
Right.
I
their
started
bit.
following someone who does. He
Oh.
kind of makes me laugh.
Is he like the really good looking comedian? What's his name?
No,
Matt
but I
Rife
know who
is
you're
the
talking
crowd
about.
Yeah,
work
yeah,
guy.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
this guy is like a guy he sings everything.
Doesn't sound funny.
Is he British?
No,
No.
mustache, first name Morgan. Okay, but we don't.
We'll
have
get
to
into
give
it.
him
Oh,
time.
Morgan J.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's very funny. I used to know
He's
him at
funny.
like open mics.
he's
Do
coming.
you have like comedian
Yeah.
friends?
Yeah, I
Cute.
like to think I have comedian friends. I mean,
Do you guys
have to
all
ask
crack
them.
jokes together?
No, you have your people. Like
Kidding.
when I started doing it 14 years ago. You start at
Wow.
open mics, so you meet people that like everyone gets into it for their own different reasons. There might be
Yeah.
people that are like doing stand up to get into acting and to get an agent because they're like that's a good way to like get seen.
Mhm.
There's some people that want to be writers. They want to write, on TV
And you have the
shows.
best agent in the world.
That's right.
There you go.
This is the best in town.
Best
so.
in the truly.
But for me, I always wanted to do comedy and like stand up is like where I felt the best.
Right.
So, but my friends, it's very, I think Seinfeld had a quote where it's like when you meet a comedian, like you already know each other so much. It's like I think meeting comedians are like meeting Jewish people to me. Like there's just
understanding.
an understanding. There's like a culture to it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like, and I think Seinfeld said like you've both bombed, you've both killed, you have a notebook in your pocket. Like that's like something you have in common right away. So
Yeah. like that.
I really care about other comedians a lot. So like, and when someone
That's a cute little culture. I
it's
like
very
that.
nice. And
Yeah.
it's all, but when someone uses comedy and is kind of trying to skip lines or not do the work, it like hurts me. Like I can't avoid feeling anger towards them.
You
So
you should be a mentor to other comedians since you've been in it for quite some time.
Spare time.
I'd like
Spare
to,
time?
yeah. It's
like when I
give
tell
me
you to
another
do
job.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who has the time? You're right. And like if you gain an extra hour during the day, like you should do that.
There's a comedian that he's I just gave him my number the other day. Like if someone had of course I'm going to answer a question. But it's sometimes hard to give advice as a comedian because like I still want to make it, like
That's true.
I'm
And
still
you can't
hungry.
like give away material. It's like
Well, it's not even give away material, but the questions that a young comic would ask me would make me like have to look in the mirror. Like, so when do you tape your next Netflix special? I'm like, they won't answer my fucking calls. Like,
Yeah. You're like,
it
"Fuck, I
makes you
gotta
have to
get to
look
that."
into your soul. Like I have this with podcasts. People ask me about podcasts all the time. And I'm like, well,
me in the hallway 2 minutes ago.
well, like I can give answers, I can give my opinion, but like
Mm-hmm.
there's a point where it's like, what the fuck do I know?
Experience.
I-
You've been doing it. You
I have
read
my-
fucking podcast.
Well, then I give give advice to people, then they end up having like the biggest one out there, and you go, I don't know how that happened. They're doing
I
everything
think
the
You Up
opposite.
was the first podcast I ever listened to. Like when did you start that?
We started at 7 years, coming up on the 7-year anniversary.
That makes sense. It was like right when we graduated college.
Yeah, people.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
graduated
yeah.
7 years ago.
Yeah, the You Up, and I was doing mine before that. J-Train before that, and the Betches I got to know over the years,
Mm-hmm.
and via like Jewish geography, like a friend, some mom in Puerto Rico.
It
on my
always goes
vacation.
back to the
Yeah,
moms.
the mom.
Crazy, the moms, yeah.
But also, you did The Bachelor, like where you just did it, like live during the show.
I scream at the Bachelor. Well, this
Right.
is the
So are
thing.
you
like,
actually a Bachelor fan, or are
And
you just doing it for the
I
bit
love
now?
reality TV. I've always
And that
loved
was like
reality
I was a huge Bachelor fan.
Mhm.
I miss Chris Harrison, but I missed 2 seasons in all of these seasons. I haven't watched Jones now.
TV.
I mean, it's just not what it was.
Mhm.
And I don't even think. 'cause
It became
you
too
could-
reality.
You could have gone on The Bachelor. We
No.
talked for 3 seconds about her going on
My
it at
friend
one
submitted
time.
me.
How'd it go?
I never heard back.
No.
But like
but it's
I don't
not-
know what I'd do it if I got on. I know I would be. You want to know what kind of candidate I would be? I wouldn't win. I think I would be like 4th or 3rd,
Mm-hmm.
and I think I'd be like the person who was like not laughing at the bitch. I wouldn't be the bitchy person. I wouldn't be the most loved person. I'd just be the person who was just like solid.
Okay.
solid and respected.
Like
I wouldn't
Maria?
win.
I like that you've
like
invented the best case scenario.
Yeah, like
of
Maria.
options.
No.
I would be beloved, but not too much, but just enough.
Like, I think I would just be like respected, speak my mind. Yeah, like a mini
Respected.
Maria. Actually,
I'd
not,
become a professor. You know, they give me a doctorate.
not Maria, like not a mini Maria because she's like half my size, but I'd be like Maria energy. But I wouldn't have the drama that Maria had. Like, I feel like I'd be fucking amazing is what I'm saying.
I'd be unbelievable.
Me,
Oh, okay.
Danny Crevette, confident, never heard of it.
And I love
Never.
that Jason boy.
Yeah, Jason, the investor.
Tardik,
That was
yeah.
my-
Kartik, whatever.
Yeah.
Out of
Jason's
all
a
of
nice
them.
guy.
But I
She
don't
like
even
wants
think
me
he
to get like wanted me to go out with him. I'm like, how, where, when, and what?
He was
like
in New
what?
York, yeah.
That's
That's
true.
right.
Well, he was
Now
out-
he's
he
Sorry,
out there.
Jason, your ship has sailed.
Right.
Too late.
Too late for Jason.
Both ways.
What do you mean?
He's in a relationship too.
Oh, and I love his girlfriend. Actually, I'm talking like I know
She's-
her. I just
she's
follow her
like
on TikTok.
100% beloved on the internet. That's the one person
She's
on the
like
internet
me.
that people. Yeah, that's what you would become.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
the
she's
Claire.
awesome. I really like
Yeah.
her content.
Minus the kid.
I mean, I would like a kid one day. Okay, actually, get this. A few years ago, we were talking about like if I got pregnant. A few years ago, I'm 27, 28 now. I go, if I got pregnant right now, like I would have an abortion. She goes, this is how involved she is in me. She goes, no, you wouldn't.
Mm.
She goes, I would
don't
take care of it.
remember that.
I'm like, in what world would I have a kid at 24 and you would take care? Like, also, you can't tell me to have a kid. Around.
And also, right now, sitting here at almost 62, I'm exhausted. That's
yeah,
not gonna
yeah,
work.
but you're not. You
I'm
can't.
visiting-
You can't quit.
You dodged a bullet.
I'm visiting my great niece and nephew. Right? Niece and nephew?
I don't know.
No, who are they to me?
They're your niece's kids,
Your niece and nephew's kids.
so it's nothing to you.
I'm the great aunt. They gotta call me great. They're only like 6 months old now though.
So
That's
they
how
haven't-
dramatic
They
she
don't
is.
call you anything.
They don't call me great yet.
They
But
call her like
call soon.
boogers on her
Yeah,
feet. Okay, in the last few minutes, I wanted to ask some questions that followers asked on our Instagram.
Let's do it.
On some situations, want your thought because I mean, you don't call yourself a dating expert, but I'm going to call you.
I am not a dating expert.
You're a dating knowledgeable man.
Opinionist.
Yeah, you have opinions. Same. Okay. I recently stopped drinking and I'm nervous a guy is going to judge if I don't drink on a first date. How do I handle?
Everyone, I hate to call it baggage, but everyone has baggage
For sure.
So like, yeah, I think
I come with a full blown
there you
duffel
go.
carry on.
You got the whole
handbag.
thing. You're
Yeah.
checking luggage.
I'm checking
So-
2 suitcases, overweight too.
Here's my thing. You have to acknowledge the baggage. You can't
Mm-hmm.
be too prideful about it. If someone who was holding 2 suitcases and I was like, "What's in the suitcases?" They're like, "What suitcases?" I'd be like, "You're a fucking crazy person." So I know we live in if you want to like get mad at the world that not drinking at a certain age, people are going to wonder why. You just have to have an answer to it. I think that's the only thing I would want. If I was on a date with a girl, she's
Well,
like,
I
"I'm
don't
not drinking
anymore. So
you don't drink anymore. So
No, I
what do you
stopped.
say to people?
I said to guys, I was just like, I don't really drink anymore. It's like a lifestyle choice because people obviously assume you have a raging alcoholic issue. And some guys were receptive and some guys weren't. And the guys who weren't, I was like, peace.
Well, I mean, to me, a good date would be, well, what made you stop? What made you kind of reevaluate? What was
And
the
most
moment?
people would ask.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes I've been ghosted by someone about it. Other guys, honestly, most of the time I found that guys would be like, oh, thank God, I'm not even in the mood to drink right now. So, like,
right.
that was the
Especially a first date. You go, first date,
you go
you're
to a
like,
bar. You go to a bar.
go to a bar and like sometimes there's this pressure of like, I'm in for drinking, maybe eating. And
Yeah.
when I'm just trying to like do 15 minutes with this person.
Right.
So that is a relief sometimes to hear,
Yeah.
I'm not really drinking. Oh, okay, cool. Let's just go get coffee. And then
Right.
people see coffee as like a downgrade. I don't believe in that. I
Yeah,
think a
I
first
was-
date is just, let's see if this is
It's a
something.
trial run.
Yeah, let's
It's a
just
trial run.
let's get a half hour in at a minimum.
Right. I think
but-
it's also how the person presents themselves too. Like if someone's like insecure about the fact that they drink, it's going to
But
reflect.
some
and
people
come
might
off.
need a drink to
Right.
loosen up and
Right, but
you know,
if it's
get the
someone who
courage
doesn't
to be on
like
a
to
date.
drink anymore or can't drink anymore, you can't be insecure about it.
But but I just think you have to expect questions.
Yeah.
Hey, what, is there something? And I don't think people are going to dig so hard that they're like, tell me the moment you had an issue.
Yeah.
Like I know that if I was on a date with someone, they're like, also like, hey, to be upfront, I'm not a big drinker. I would love to do coffee. Like present some options. Like
Yeah.
be positive. I think be positive about the fact that that's who you are.
Yeah.
And I think that's okay. And then acknowledge it. Like, I think like if it's answering the questions and being ready to like have reasonable answers. I think that's all people are looking
How
for.
far into a date do you know if it's going to be a good one?
You stole my question, you
Uh,
bitch.
This is the first time. I just want you to know, Jared. Besides
Yeah.
the fact that I think you're adorable, I have
Side
all
note?
my
You have
questions.
questions?
Okay, I usually sit here, whatever, but I am just so enjoying.
told you
I
it.
thought
today-
those were recipes for Rosh Hashanah.
I just,
I told my caterer. That's
this
one thing, I'm
bitch
a
just
great
didn't know what a
mommy,
fucking
but I love
apron
love.
is. But she's amazing at catering things.
You cater things?
You know what? That's
She
the
doesn't know how to
only
make
way
cereal.
I cheated. No. That's the only way I kind of not cheated. My kids, I had supreme lunches. I was a great mommy. I'll
Supreme.
keep tooting my horn. The best lunches my kids had.
The best
when they were
category.
growing
the
up.
best, she,
Brought to school?
yeah,
Like,
she
Yeah,
had
no,
a
I packed
category
it.
in our lunch boxes sounds so lame, but like our lunch bags, a crunch category. So they're always had to be something
crunch.
crunchy.
Yeah, they had like sushi or they had chicken.
We
Sushi?
never had sushi.
You did
you're
too,
packing
I-
sushi, they're
I-
walking to school with unagi?
Yeah, they had.
This
good-
is
they had
happening?
good
This is
stuff.
crazy.
But my meals,
I would have been made fun of to the end of my
I was like,
life.
I
pork
had like
chops.
people around my shoulders being like, "Ooh, I love that sandwich," and I'm like, "Do you want a bite?" Like every day.
I love California rolls. What?
To go
That's
back to the
crazy.
question. To go to question.
How far in?
Yeah, how far in?
I know at first hug. I know at first intro.
I
you
was the
can
same
tell.
way.
Yeah, you can just.
Yeah.
And I just know that I can be. I can. Oh, it was. I can review later, but I know if we're gonna have like a fun time. Pretty much.
Yeah, very quickly.
Yeah.
Okay. Guy I'm dating and really like is a huge partier, and I'm just not. Are we doomed?
I don't think you're doomed, but I think you have to wonder. I don't know what huge partier means, but I think
Didn't
like
get context, but let's assume like
no.
clubs, raves, going out late 3 a.m.
Sure, but like I guess like you have to. Is this person like mature enough to have a relationship? Like huge partier. What are you going out for? What's the goal of going out? Who are you going out with? How are you gonna be able to go out with me the next day?
Right.
After you've been out late during these parties? Like a relationship is a responsibility, and when you're out partying, are you ready for the responsibility of someone else? Like,
true.
does it fit into your calendar? I think it's more logistical in that sense. Like the idea, are we doomed? Like partier, non-partier. I'm sure she goes out more than that description lends to, and I'm sure he goes out less than that description lends to.
Mm-hmm.
So it's somewhere, I would say it's more about, are you getting the time that you want out of this relationship more than like this? Because some people go out, some people, they go to like festivals. That's their thing. That's their outlet. And to me, I'm like,
That seems like hell.
Hell on earth.
Like Burning Man equals hell.
I would rather
for me.
cut off my pinky toe than have to sit on the ground at a festival.
Same.
And I can like, but if someone I'm seeing that's a part of their life and that's their outlet, okay, that's what they do on their
You're
own
out
time.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have fun in the desert.
No way. I don't know if we'll get to that point, but I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
to me, that are they a big partier or is this their one thing that they enjoy
Some
doing?
people love
And-
music.
Yeah.
Right.
Like no, but like
They
those
love going to
fish,
clubs.
the fish people. There's like
The fish people, yeah, no, that's a
they're
big
like
thing.
They're
too.
called-
crazy
they're
festival
called-
people.
Right.
Okay, last one. Which one should I do?
I want to know what's on the note cards. I want to.
Oh,
It's
we'll
like,
do
where'd
that
you go to
after.
college?
No, it's not. I knew where he went. To
Wait, what
college,
was that
right?
one question? Okay. When we first started this podcast, she like had her index cards and she's gotten so much better over time. And no, you're always amazing since I literally she's 62 and I threw her at a fucking
One.
podcast studio. Sorry.
Right,
And
and
she goes,
I don't even take pictures of myself. I don't like the way I speak. I never listened to a podcast before, so I'm like, okay, what?
No,
are we
I
doing?
threw her in here with no warning.
Yeah.
She asked someone, she was like, she goes, my brother. She goes, sunrise or sunset? I go, are you
Oh, no, we're
fucking
playing a
kidding me? This
game.
is a
Like, what do
dating
you like
podcast.
better?
What is the sunrise of the sunset?
And all she really wanted me to do was say was more like anal
blowjob or anal.
blowjob.
Yeah. I was like, God, we're going nowhere with that content. Anyway, last but not least, he canceled on me last minute and hasn't followed up for another date. Should I reach out?
You can do whatever you want. I would say here's my kind of thing. Reach out. I think it's okay to redemption is something that I believe in. People have schedules and things going on. I think leaving the door open to people, and I know that's hard for some people to do. They want a lot of women specifically want to be pursued like to the end of the earth or have their heads chopped off. They want one or the other. And I know this advice doesn't lend to that, but
Yeah.
to say to someone, hey, I understand things come up. You have my number. Whenever you can make, you have my number. Maybe there's another time and space for us. And I think
I like
that's
that, actually.
Yeah, that's not making, that's not like holding this guy's hand
And
to
being
a
like,
date.
I'm free next week. Let's
Right.
do, yeah.
That to me is a waste of time and is kind of annoying. Just, you have my number. Like, I think,
Either do something with it or don't.
right, you have it. We'll re-enter this conversation then. Hopefully I'm still, maybe I'm still single, maybe I'm not. Like, I think that's a thing
I like that.
that everyone should kind of live by of like, I'm okay. I don't
Yeah.
need this date. I actually am doing better off without this date.
Yeah.
I think you should put that in with your breakup texts. I like that whole
I don't
little
need my
line.
breakup. I used to have like a notes document with like what, like the paragraph of like
What
how
you
to
would
end it
say?
with someone based on the date. Like my friends would text me too and be like, all right, it's been like 3 dates. I'm not into it. He's really into it. What should I say? And I would like edit it for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, those are, I mean, it's funny. We got emails like there's, he's sending the same text. We got that once where
My friends and I got the same message on a dating app.
really like,
Same message. We both matched the same guy. He said the same thing. It was like, hey, going to Trader Joe's. Like, what are your go-tos? What should I get you? Like, so not like, hey, what are you doing? Like, just such a niche message. And we both got it. My Lord and I both got it. It was so funny.
that's how much there is. That's the thing about dating apps. There's just more, so
Yeah.
it's like, especially New York, this guy is probably on the apps. He's swiping all day long.
Yeah.
Let me give this one message. Let's see how people answer. Let's see if it's a fun, whatever.
Well, he lost 2 good suitors because he didn't answer.
Win some, lose some.
Win some, lose
That's
some. Okay, I could talk to you for hours, but we have to wrap. So I always like to end with what's one final piece of advice that you can give to singles, people in a relationship, married, anything you've heard that you think could be helpful for people.
I know nothing. I'm like,
Just
I wish I had better answers.
We need to laugh in life.
I
put you in my pocket.
I live. This is my motto that I've repeated to myself many times, and I use it. I think stand up is a good thing for anyone to do because it forces you to like public speak and see how people react to you, make you more aware. But I have this line that I've said many times: we write to edit. So you can't edit until you write. So that's like my motto in all things. Get it down, do it. You'll make it better afterwards. We write to edit. That's always because I
I
remember.
think Rachel's writing that down right now.
It came from.
I knew it.
Well, it came from my brother and I lived together. We had an apartment together in New York. And I would come back from shows and I was just getting at the cellar. So I was like kind of nervous about how I did or whatever. And my brother, like, he's a moody character. He gets, I know you catch him at the wrong time. So I would be like, what do you think of this bit? And he'd be in a bad mood. He'd be like, no, it sucks. I'm like, no, nothing sucks.
Yeah.
We write to edit. We put it down.
It's another way of saying
It's
no
a
bad
starting-
idea is a good idea. No
it's a
good
starting
idea. Wait,
point.
no idea is a bad idea.
Right.
In
It's
some way.
something you got to start.
Yeah.
And I have people that ask me for advice about doing stand-up. I'm like, you got to go on stage. They're like, but I got to write my 5 minutes first. You're never going to do that.
Yeah.
It's just never going to happen that way. You have to go do.
Stand up's always so scary. Oh.
It's scary until it's not, and there's other things that become scary.
True.
I couldn't do it.
You could.
No, I don't like people
No,
looking at me. Or
This is on video.
no,
Yeah.
I know, but that's why
As I
this
said,
was
I
hard
dragged
for
her
me.
into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
She
stand-up
looked
is a
at me.
weird thing. Like, it's weird to
She
go
used
on
to get her
stage.
hair done for every episode.
I used to. not
Really?
anymore.
Well, she got
But
a
I did
haircut.
get
Hair
my
looks
haircut
great.
for you.
It looks
I got a
nice.
cut
For you.
Thank you. I
For you.
appreciate
So you were
that.
cute.
That wasn't my rider.
All right.
said
So
everyone's hair
So you're
better
going
be
to
done.
Boca, home to Boca with him.
You don't want to go to Boca? You're not going to go.
No, I'm more a Palm Beach Gardens girl.
Palm Beach Garden.
Isn't that like
Okay.
one and the same?
Yeah, it's the same.
Same.
But I have a lot of friends in Boca.
I love going down there. My parents are trying to get me to move, and I'm like, I don't think so. But
Well, she was a Miami girl.
Miami,
Love Miami.
I like Miami. That is like
For fun.
It's fun, but I've been like, my parents they go to Del Rey a lot. I like it down there.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah, it's an easygoing place, but
But you have a good spot in Boca, so you're
Yeah.
good.
yeah, I go stay with my parents, and they yell at me to do Ozempic.
You look so good. Don't
Yeah, you look a
Thank
skinny
you.
bitch.
Appreciate it,
You look
but no,
great.
I'm fishing.
Okay. Oh.
Anyway, thank you for being here, skinny bitch. We're so
you.
glad to have you, and
You can get
I
my new
can't
merch,
wait.
Skinny Bitch T-shirts.
Skinny
at
bitch.
me on
Okay, so now
sale
you
on
have to
website.
unblock me because I just thought of your new brand.
I'll
name.
unblock you.
Yes.
You're
Say love
welcome.
you.
Starting
Love
fresh.
you.
Love you.
Love you. Okay.
Love you.
Thank
Love
you.
you.
Bye.
Bye.